Good morning and welcome in, everybody. As we can see this morning, Bitcoin, XRP, majority of crypto has bounced off of that drop last night. However, if you were in the live last night, you've seen my short I had. I had a short on Bitcoin from 104,860 area. I closed it at 101,280 area. Made about 50%. I made about $1,300 on my Bitcoin trade. There was two separate ones that were open on two different exchanges. And I sold and I said, listen, even if we're bearish, we're going to come back up and back test this drop point. So right now we've done nothing except come up and try to back test the drop point. It's around 104,605. So just pay attention to that. This can still be a topping reversal. This can still be the right shoulder of an M topping reversal. It's just the back test for validation of a breakdown further would be at 104,675. So be very careful this morning that if you're buying, that you're not buying the back test rejection if it were to happen. On XRP, it's not exactly the same. But if you start looking at all of this, here, let's get rid of some of this so we don't confuse ourselves because this was at the past. But when I'm looking at this, I can look at this chart instead of going to the next just so we can save space. I'll go to the next one after. But you can see this is the resistance drop. So XRP needs to get over $2.19 to start pushing back over the top side of this bearish drop. And if you look at this as a whole, if you come from here, the support, you can see support, support, support all the way across. This is basically... This is what you're going to start looking at here to see if XRP is going to break down or if we're going to continue on, because right now XRP is kind of in a squeeze zone. We got to get past this. Otherwise, this can break down farther. So I want everybody in my audience to be aware. Bitcoin below 105K is still bearish, and XRP under $2.20 is still technically bearish because we're coming up in these rejection zones from a drop down. Remember, XRP was at $2.25 and then dropped down, got rejected at $2.29, and Ethereum was at 2,600 and about 20 when it got rejected, and now Ethereum's coming back up to the logical rejection point if it doesn't get any kind of support. And if it gets rejected here, as we've had the bearish cross in the 4-hourly, 20 cross 50 almost through the 100, we would come down here to about 2,135. So going into a thinly traded weekend, it is Friday. I want everybody to be very, very aware. Yes, it looks nice being green. Yes, we've had some things bounce 6 to 8%. But we're coming up to these rejection areas of the drop point. So I want everybody to be alert that this might not continue on here. So we have to get the proper validation. So with Bitcoin, we're looking to get over 105K to get that validation. For Ethereum, back over 2,600. But in the short term, I mean, we really got to make that movement. XRP, we would like to see us over $2.20 to start feeling that validation. So with that being said, good morning. 9:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, June 6th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. The only thing I did wrong yesterday was I didn't reopen a Bitcoin long or open a Bitcoin long after closing the short. We nailed that within a few $100s. I talked about the reversal yesterday back up to over 104,000, around 800 to back test the drop point. And I said, this is why I'm selling my short. And it did very well. Like I said, $1,300, $1,400 between the shorts yesterday. And now we're looking to see if we get a back test here. A lot of people are going to get trapped, especially if this is the back test. A lot of people think that that was the bottom. And the only way that can be the bottom is if you break past this little rising channel, or rising wedge, I should say, that we broke down out of. And now Bitcoin hasn't done anything yet. It's done exactly what we said yesterday. I would say make sure it's over 105K. You could say 104,800. I'm okay with that. But right now we're basically at the Mendoza line. We're at the rejection area we're creeping up to confirm a further move down. Or if we can break out over this, we could confirm that we bottomed and start pushing out. But we are at a very dangerous area right now. If you're just coming into the market as a spot trader, Very, very dangerous area. Because as of right now, we're at the resistance tug. Now, we could very well spike another $5,000, $10,000 in Bitcoin and confirm, vehemently break over and confirm that break back through. But we don't want to jump the shark. We want to make sure we get that validation. We want to make sure that this is going in a directional pull that we can understand. So that's what I'm seeing this morning. I'm seeing us coming back towards that rejection area. And if we can break past it and use it as a support, then we can flip it to support. But we need to make sure first. I'm not saying we're bearish. I'm not saying we're bullish. I'm just saying let's wait for the confirmation before we vehemently say, oh, we flip back bullish, or that this is guaranteed bearish down to the next layer of 90K for Bitcoin, or a drop down, to that $1.98 or even a $1.50 FVG for XRP. Or are we going to push up towards that 265 area for XRP and back up towards 111 for Bitcoin? That's what we're in the middle of right now. So if you did your due diligence and now you're watching to see if this back test happens for further breakdown, or if we can reattain support, that should be your primary objective this morning on this Friday morning. Understanding we're going into a thinly traded weekend. The ETFs will be closed after today for the thinly traded weekend. So that's what we're dealing with. The XRP price sends mixed signals after 4 green daily closes, crash, or rally. The XRP price has now moved back into bearish territory after a remarkable run on daily chart that had been signaling possible bullish momentum. Crypto analysts, blah, 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 blah. Disturbing trend in XRP chart. If this continues, then the future of XRP, at least in the short term, has become even more uncertain, with bears fighting for more control. So the 4 green daily candles, 4 daily closes fall to nothing. After suffering a crash along with the rest of crypto market, the XRP price had faced a recovery that seemed to have put it right back on track to rally again. This saw the first green daily close on the last day of May and then carried into the new month of June. The first 3 days also closed in green, leading in 4 consecutive daily green closes, which is usually bullish for the price. However, there was just another part of the trend that was not completed to show that this was a bullish move, and it was to do with volume. A spike in volume was expected as the XRP price put in a low, higher low. This would mean there is the momentum needed to push the price back up. But this was not the case as the volume plummeted and remained muted. The absence of this expected volume suggests there is weakness surrounding the XRP price, and this played out, as the next day saw a red close for the altcoin for the first time in June. If this lack of momentum continues, then the price could continue to plummet. So far, there is now resistance mounting at the 0.382 Fibonacci level, which is $2.29.5, which is a major pivot point. This resistance would need to be cleared with a spike in volume if there is to be a recovery in the XRP price. Otherwise, it risks a fall back down to the 0.236 Fibonacci level, meaning the first steps toward falling below $2. So XRP price could fall as volume suffers. Data from CoinGlass shows how bad the XRP volume has been recently. So far in June, daily volume has remained well below 5 billion, reminiscent of the bear market figures. Whenever the price was falling, this also showed reduced participation from investors who are wary of entering the market during such conditions. Interestingly, though, open interest remains rather high, 3.94 billion, showing that crypto traders are actively betting on the XRP price. However, the majority are betting that their XRP price will continue to fall from here, with CoinGlass data showing 52.75% of all positions being short, compared to only 47.25% betting that the price will increase. And that's exactly what we talked about yesterday. You're going to get a lot more people going short than long because it's already dropped, and then they're going to get the inevitable back test of the drop, which will liquidate all the shorts. So that's, that goes hand in hand. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I hope you enjoyed this brief look into the morning update. We'll do a short at sometime around noon, and then we'll do the live tonight. So if you're looking for more information, make sure to tune into the live tonight, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It all depends how the day goes. All depends what kind of volatility I have in the family life, but we're going to do a live somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m., and we're going to go even deeper into this information because we'll look at the whales, we'll look at different odds and ends, but right now it was just a matter of fact with the pricing, a little bit of look at what people are doing, and to show you that the short percentage is a little bit higher than the long percentages right now. So XRP one more time, $2.20. Get over that, or $2.22, could start looking a little hotter. Bitcoin needs to get over 105K to start pushing into the bullish range. Otherwise, this could be one of those things where we're pushing up in the morning. USA wakes up on the East Coast, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, West Coast, or 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which we're at right now. And sometimes the price appreciation ends, and as everybody starts waking up, it starts to continue on the move from the day before. So we'll see if this is bullish, bearish, indifferent, or if we get a rejection or a continuation and a hit of support above to validate a further move up, or a rejection point here to move and validate a further move down. Stay blessed, everybody. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and join the over 43,000 subscribers. Take a look in the video description below and our pinned comments with BitUnix. They have some stuff going on that we'll talk about it in live. I don't really want to get into it now. Have a blessed day, everybody. I got some stuff to do.